All right, guys, it's time for another pro trainer certification. As with all pro trainer certifications, this is public. This will be posted publicly. The results, good or bad or indifferent, will be posted because we are all about transparency and people seeing how, and why we actually certify people. And a big part of our certification is the people that take our course must go out in public and show their training and show their results, because we will never recommend someone or give someone a certification unless we can actually see what they do. So today we have Malachi Simmons and his standard poodle Coco. He is not doing this test with an e-collar on the dog, even though he's allowed to. He will not be doing it with the e-collar on the dog. Coco did have some fear issues, especially around other dogs. So we're going to see how she does today. Let's get started.
Hey everybody, it's Malachi Simmons from Skyline Canine, and this is my submission for the Pro Trainer Certification from Shield Canine. This is Coco. She's a 2-year-old standard poodle. She's very, very anxious, very kind of cowardly in her personality. However, we really brought her out of her shell. She's turned out pretty good. We are running this training without an e-collar. So once we take the leash off, there's nothing on. I just wanted to let you know that. So we'll see how she does.
I've definitely seen a lot of poodles that have that anxiousness, that have that kind of sensitivity and fear. So we'll see how Malachi did with her. So first up, looks like he's going to go with the loose leash walk, and she is a fuzzy dog, isn't she? I kind of like how they look when they're all fuzzy, eh? So there you got the loose leash walking. Looks like she's got no problem there. Malachi's right outside a dog park. Everything's looking good so far. Dog's very, very neutral in the loose leash walking. You know, she's just kind of staying with him. In loose leash walking, I don't mind if the dog smells the ground, goes around, so on and so forth. So now we got no leash. Let's see how she goes. All right, so we're going to start with the off-leash heeling. Very similar picture to the loose leash walking. You know, she's right next to him. She's not really moving one way or the other. I really like how this dog's hair looks. I think like they shaved the body, but they didn't shave the legs, so she kind of looks like she has these ginormous legs. So some lagging there. He gave the command again. The dog did pick it up and come next to him. She showed some activity there. He's walking next to the fence to show the behavior around other dogs. Nice down in motion. You know, right now, the only thing I could really say is, like, the dog's very correct and everything. I would like her to be a little more active. Just a little more active. It's not a huge problem, but, you know, just a little more. A little more pep. I like this. Notice the dog's tail wagging as the handler approaches. That's a good sign. When the dog drops the head and looks worried when the handler approaches, that's generally a bad sign. So he's doing his long down under distraction. He's showing the correct distance. Now, I know she's at a fence. That's good. Nice little distraction for her here. Sometimes fences are actually harder for dogs than being, you know, with the dogs on the same side of the fence. The fence creates like that barrier of frustration, and you'll see like a lot of dogs, nice recall there, you'll see a lot of dogs kind of, you know, actually get a little more active there on the fence. So there's the heel entry. You know, dog could be ever so slightly faster. Picks it up there. You know, nice neutral body language here. Not showing any kind of excessive emotion. She's not too hyper here. She's not too, downtrodden. She's not too suppressed. She's looking nice and neutral. I always say this in my pro trainer tests. This is not sport work. I do not want the dogs super active in heel. I want the dogs calm, focused, under control. So we got our send to place here from, looks like maybe 20 feet. That was a good send to place. Again, dog could be ever so slightly faster. He's making distance, so he's going to be doing his place at great distance. 80 feet minimum is the place here. Nice recall. That's 2 recalls. He must show a total of 5 recalls through the test, all off leash. Again, dog is correct. Like, I always take into account the type of dog we're dealing with. Obviously, this is not, a super drivey Malinois, a field-bred Labrador, a Border Collie, whatever. Nice down in motion, nice act. She was ironically active, but then she rolled over on a hip and kind of ruined it. Again, we're not judging these dogs for sport, but I always take into account the type of dog. And we see here, kind of your typical standard poodle there. So she was given the recall. You saw she did get distracted a little bit. She made the finish, so she did technically make the recall, but the finish there hasn't been shown fully. She didn't sit because she did get distracted by the other dog. You can see the other dogs are kind of making her a little bit active there. So yeah, I don't expect her to kind of move the same way as a Belgian Malinois will, or someone that has kind of more of a working breed. Obviously she's a little bit of a lower drive type dog. And we take that into consideration. Again, this is a certification to be a pet dog trainer, and I'm looking for the skills and the requisite ability necessary so that I know you're going to be able to help pet dogs, and I know that you're going to be able to, help the clients that bring you their pet dogs, just like Coco, and get them to that high level of obedience, fix their behavioral problems, so on and so forth. So we have another recall to heel here. This one is shown correctly. Again, as with everything, all you could say is like, dog could be ever so slightly faster. Is it a big deal? No, I don't think it is. So I do want to see the dogs break. I want to see the dogs kind of have a little freedom. We'll see kind of what Coco does with that, because, you guys know I like to see dogs that can go from obedience to just kind of doing whatever they want and then back to obedience. That's why as part of the test I actually require to see that. I want to see you break the dog and turn the dog loose and kind of see the dog go and do something. You can see she kind of, as I suspected with Coco, she kind of just doesn't want to go and do anything. He's trying to be like, all right, go away. She's like, all right, I'll go to you, the camera person. She's not particularly interested in the environment, and she's not particularly interested in engaging with the environment. So, there are some dogs like this. You can see, she likes to be with the handler. It's not something where she feels like obligated. You look at the tail carriage and all that. She actually likes chasing him. I bet you if he turned her loose, didn't give her one command and walked down a busy sidewalk, she'd pretty much just do this. And for a lot of dog owners, that would be a dream come true, isn't it? What are we doing here? Well, we need to move the camera. Is he going to do a send to place? What's he going to do? She is a floofy thing, all right. Okay. I know Malachi was actually having problems with this. Ooh, nice. Send to place with some barking dogs. It's always good. That was good. Definitely a good send to place. That was like a 40-footer. Hard to tell on the camera, but I think that was at least 40 feet. Really good send to place there. Nice stability on the place. All right. It's funny. Actually, with greater distance, you see that the dog picks up more speed to come to the handler. So, it tells me some things about the dog. Like, obviously, the dog really likes Malachi and feels comfortable with him. Just the recall, just the body language around the handler. That's actually important for me. There's this perception out there that, because we're balanced trainers, aka, hold on. Because we're balanced trainers and we will use pressure in the training, that somehow we hate the dogs and we're angry with the dogs, and it's this this kind of like we're super abusive drill sergeants kind of deal. And that nothing could be further from the truth. There must be balance in everything, right? You must use positive reinforcement in your training. That's why it's called balanced training. You must use pressure in your training. There must be a balance between motivation and obligation. And why I do these tests and why I also will grade a dog based on the body language that the dog expresses, the behavior that the dog shows me around the handler. Like, I can tell within about 5 minutes if a dog likes a handler or not, if a dog, likes obedience or not. And the goal is balance. I don't need a dog that's like hyper aroused, but I don't want a dog that looks like it was beaten with a 2x4 on a daily basis. And that's one thing I look for.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you. This is, like I said, my submission for the Shield Pro Trainer certification. Coco, she did pretty good. This is her first day here. We warmed up just going over the single place and stuff. That was tended to be where she messed up the most. She really got that, as you could see from the first couple videos when she started. She was just weird about placing her new stuff. Also, of course, as you see, trained next to the dog park, had a couple of dogs bark, different things. Over here, had a couple dogs react. And then overall, the people were all right. I do apologize. I had a place that was a little bit more distracted than this. Like I said, they told me to leave because they had a leash law. But overall, I thought Coco did really, really amazing. From where she began, being a super, super fearful dog, would avoid other dogs, all that sort of thing. So just let me know what you think, and I look forward to hearing back from you. This is Coco. She's a 2-year-old standard.
I just want to see where Malachi is located quickly.
Pro Trainer certification from Shield Canine. This is Coco. Hey everybody, it's Malachi Simmons from Skyline Canine, and this is my
Skyline Canine. So that's his company. Anyways, he's going to be, once he finishes the written portion of the test, he is going to be a certified pro trainer. You'll be able to find him on both our online, shieldcanineonline.com, and shieldcanine.ca with his location. You guys will be able to contract his services, those of you that are in the U.S. that have proximity to him. A lot of people are really happy to use our pro trainers because, there's people all around the world that follow our work and they want to train with us, but of course it's not possible because they live in the UK, they live in the southern United States or wherever else. And the good news is we are slowly increasing our network, slowly and carefully increasing our network of certified pro trainers that have my personal stamp of approval, that show me with their dogs in the real world, unedited video, that they can actually do this. So, with the dog being the way she was, sensitive, fearful, I think 99.999% of owners would be very happy with this outcome. She's obedient. She doesn't even need the e-collar, as you can see, to be obedient. Very good job, Malachi. I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10. I would have liked, so areas for improvement, like I said, she could be ever so slightly faster in some of the behaviors. I'm not going to be judging her as harshly as, like, let's say I would judge a Belgian Malinois. Let's say, hypothetically, someone did this with, like, a nice working breed dog, like a Belgian Malinois, field-bred lab or something like that, and they put out the same performance. For me, it would be a lower grade because I know what those dogs are capable of. So, I always, like I said, I encourage my pro trainers to challenge themselves with difficult cases. And, we like, for instance, we had a pro trainer that went and pulled a pit bull from a shelter and ran the test. We have people that do it with multiple dogs, like Ian in the UK. So I always encourage them to kind of try and bring something a little different. So good job, Malachi. Nice to see a floofy poodle doing the whole thing. No e-collar as well, so you're going to get some bonus points for that. 8 out of 10 for me. I would have liked to see when you broke the dog that she maybe went and investigated the environment a little more. I understand that she might not be the dog that likes to do that, but I would like to see that a little more. It's common, though, with dogs that kind of have anxiety and sensitivity, that they don't They find a lot of safety in the handler. They don't really like to leave the handler. So that's why for a dog like her, sending her to place would have been difficult because she doesn't want to leave, right? So when you're sending her away, it's actually tougher for the dog than recalls and stuff like that. But again, overall, excellent job, Malachi. You guys will be seeing him in our role of certified pro trainer soon, I have no doubt. He's a smart young man, and I'm sure he'll pass the written test, which he will be receiving shortly. But this is a pass. We'll see you guys on the next one.